All right, let's talk about capturing different angles and where we're going to put our GoPros. Personally, this is one of the most fun things for me, is figuring out all the different places I can put my GoPro. This is what I loved about GoPro when they first came out. It's like, oh, I can put one here, I can put one there, I can put one upside down, and I can put one underneath, I can put one over the top, right? I do that because I really love it. I think it's fun, right? One of the most common things I see is when people get their first GoPro, they strap it to their helmet and then they upload a video onto Facebook. It's 15 minutes of them just going, bleh, 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 bleh.
This is so boring.
Come on, like you can do better than that, right? It's not hard to do better than that, right? It's not hard to do something slightly different. And the key thing is just capturing different angles. Now, while you're riding, if you just want to use that one angle, as I said before, you can just use that one angle while you're riding. The key thing is you want to capture other stuff when you're not riding.
It feels way more than that, eh?
Right, so the riding part of your video shouldn't be the entirety of your video, because there's so much more to it, right? That's you as a person, right, is what people actually want to see. So remember to talk to the camera. So that's your first other camera angle, is, as I said before, just drop it onto your mirrors, just drop it on your handlebars, something like that, put it on your seat, and talk to the camera and tell people what's going on, right? You could do that at the very start of your ride. Just stop on the side of the road somewhere, plonk your helmet on your tank, look at the camera and just go, hey, today we're going to blah, blah, blah. You've just given a different angle for people to be able to see. They get to see you, and you're also helping tell the story. Now, then capture some shots while you're riding along. But when you get to your destination, capture shots of the destination, of the bike in that destination. Make sure you capture all those different angles. It makes a huge, huge difference to top quality videos, because you've got to remember, we like it when we're on the bike. We know what that looks like. We know what that feels like when we're watching it. But anyone else watching it, say your family member or whatever, they're going to get pretty bored just watching that, right? Because they don't feel the way we feel about it when they see that. They don't hear what we hear and stuff like that. So you've got to remember that you're telling the story for the audience, not just for what you saw in the shot. Of course, if you've only got the one GoPro, mounting on the front of your helmet is the default. But when you go out for a little ride, just grab some other mounts. Like hopefully your GoPro came with like a handlebar mount or something like that. If it didn't, invest in a handlebar mount. Like seriously, those things are so versatile. Particularly on a motorbike, you've got your handlebars. You can mount it on the handlebar, face it towards you. You only need to grab like 2 or 3 minutes of that shot looking towards you, and you can use it anywhere in your video. The handlebar mount means that you can mount it onto your frame. You can mount it on your frame, point it towards your tire, point it towards the ground, point it towards your feet, point it towards your hands. Just grab all those different angles. That one mount can capture many, many different angles. And for me, I've always got the rear one set up. I've got just a stick on, stuck on the back of it, on the back of the taillight, right? There's many different ways that you can mount the one camera. Now, multiple cameras. So if you've seen any of my videos, you're well aware that I use more cameras than I probably should. I, by default, will have 3 cameras running. I have one camera on the helmet, one camera on the rear. That's my absolute minimum. I just, at least the 2. And then I now have an additional one that faces towards me on the handlebars as well, so I can talk to the camera. However, I've also got the chest mount and a few other mounts, right? So, but I generally, and of course I usually take the Max with me, and I usually take the drone with me as well. So that's 5 cameras that I generally take with me. That is overkill, yes, I know. So I'm not saying that you need to take 5 cameras with you, you definitely don't. If you have the opportunity to get a second camera, then you can do a lot more with it. It does means that there's a little bit of an extra workflow working with multiple cameras, but it means that you can capture all sorts of different shots at the same time. Right, so one of the nice things about having multiple cameras is you can capture someone coming up behind you and then as they go past you, right? So that's nice little angles that you can get that you can only get if you have multiple cameras. So it is something to think about. 360 cameras are hugely versatile, really creative. You can do all sorts of creative stuff with them. Lots of versatility. So, that's something to think about as well. Of course, multiple cameras depends on your budget. When we get into editing, we'll talk about multiple cameras and how we can use a process to make using multiple cameras really easy. Key thing to remember though, whether you have one camera or multiple cameras, you just want to capture at least 3 or 4 different angles. At least something more than just pointing straight ahead. Mix it up. We want to mix it up because boring is boring.